Welcome to this episode of Mercy Can't Stop Her. I'm your host, Judith Kambia Obatusa, JKO. Today is going to be a little different from our regular format. On today's episode, I'm going to be sharing a conversation I had with Kathy Gleason. She's the podcast host of As I Live and Grieve, a podcast that shares tips and talks to subject matter experts, including people grieving and those that support them, about grief. If you were to ask me how I'm doing today, I'll tell you I'm not okay. As they say, grief comes in waves. There are times where it seems that it's almost overwhelming. The heartbreak is so much. And as you know, I always talk about how important it is as mothers, as women, how our healing is so important. Because when you are grieving the loss of your child, what you live with is all those moments that you may have been able to do something different. And sometimes you may not even have been able to do something different, but you just feel, maybe I could have done more. The loss of a child may be the worst pain of a mother who loves that child. So on today's episode, I'm going to be including the link to that episode of the podcast. I was on Kathy's podcast, As I Live and Grieve. And so this episode will not be right in my own feed. If you check the show notes for this episode, you're going to see a link to that episode. We talked about so many things. One of them being how important it is for a mom to invest in her own healing, especially when you're not yet a mom or you're going to be. It's important that you prepare yourself for the role of nurturing, guiding, supporting another human being that will be so dependent on you and whose outcomes can actually be influenced by how you raise them. So I would love for you to get into that episode and let me know your thoughts about the episode. You need to invest in your healing because when you do this, mercy won't stop you. I can assure you. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Bye-bye.